and you're tuned to Women Radio 91.7 FM, the voice of women, Nigeria's first and only radio station focused as advice. The real people, RadioDoctor is Nigeria's first specialized program where men and doctors themselves for free and advise you for free on Women Radio. Broadcast Mondays through Fridays, 10 a.m. My name is Fumi Bangala. Our radio doctor today is Dr. Abiola Jai, the MD CEO of RA Specialist Hospital. But I'm also not here alone. Nima is here. Hi, Nima.
Hi, Fumi. Good morning.
You will say good morning to
Dr. Ajayi.
What do you want to give me?
Ma?
She said, Ma. She said, you can take the something out of the something. You cannot take the something. You are such a Yoruba girl. Oh my God. She said, Ma.
I'm sorry. It's just second nature.
I know. So for the fact that my siblings don't call me, my brother doesn't will not even call me sister, whatever. My sister doesn't either. So the most I get is maybe they call me Mrs. This by my children's name. And here's the thing, if somebody who's not in those circles calls me that name, I am taken aback. That's how you know that I've not fully even. I have two children, 8 and 3. 8 and 3. Yes, 8 and 3. I have 8 and 3, but even at that, if you call me, like for instance, okay, like you call me by mommy, my children's name, it will take me a really long time to respond to you because that's not what you call me. And I'm like, like these are the people that call me. I'm like, like these are the people that call me this because I'm trying to hold tightly to my original identity, right? So I've been fighting Nima. I said, call me by my first name. She's like, no, Mao. I'm like, colleagues, like, what is the issue? So that's like, I'm working on her. I don't know when that is ever going to happen, but she's laughing at me like you don't even know me.
and the opposite is true for me. For somebody to call me Abby, or I'm just so used to, or MD. Everybody calls me MD. Even people in the States call me MD or call me Dr. Ajayi. So if I hear my first name, I'm taken back. Not that I mind too much, as long as it's respectful. But
it's respectful, exactly.
Yeah,
like I can actually relate because some people call me my first name is an English name. So some people call me like that. My husband has 13 years now, never ever. So when he calls me by my first name, he's calling me, maybe he's speaking to my parents who know me more by my first name than my second name. So I use I've always used both my names, my first name and my second name. So if you call me, if you're not the person that knows me by my first name, call me by my second, I'm like, what's going on? But Nima, I'm going to work on you. That's all I'm saying.
We'll work on Nima together.
Nima is like, yeah,
I actually try on air, but
you do.
Off air, no. It will not work.
WFM917.com. The phone lines will be open shortly. And in the meantime, you can send text messages, WhatsApp messages, or voice notes to 0703 1756 537 or 08155 9179. Dr. Abiola decided that today he wants to drag us. I'm like, the audacity of Dr. Abiola to talk about obesity.
I actually like the topic. I'm going to ask him questions even for myself. So
okay. So here's the thing: Dr. Abiola loves this. The topic that Dr. Abiola lifestyle. When you talk about lifestyle, exercise, food, all that kind of stuff, that's where you see his board. He used to
and prostate and urology and urology things.
And prostate, yes.
But you're right. I'm always talking about lifestyle.
But even for prostate and urology, like there's lifestyle there lifestyle changes that you have to have as well. But let me just start by saying a couple of weeks ago, I decided to go calculate my BMI, and what I saw.
What did we get? I'm happy you calculated.
I mean, I think I will tell you. The problem is that
you tell me. You want me to guess? Was it 52?
I just like this can never happen. Like how? And that's not me being negative. I was like, I'm gonna look sick. So this number cannot. I'm not in 3 digits, thank God. But I'm like, this number is like just below half. I said, who? What? Where? Yeah. He was like, what was it? Was it 53 or 66 that I'm supposed to be weighing? The last time I weighed 66 was probably when I was in shortly, or maybe university, because when I was getting married, my weight before I got married was like 72. So it is possible that maybe, like shortly before I got married, but 66. Fabiola, let's get into it. So this morning, I'm not even going to bother asking Nima if she knows her weight. I will carry it to ROA.
I'll
Let
not
the
even tell you.
I don't even want to know. I don't want to know. I don't like to go my own with you. I'm not telling you my own. Why would I tell you? Why would I ask you for your own? But on Monday, Nima will go to ROA. I'll drop you there.
I have
Drop.
places to go on Monday.
What do you think?
To go on Monday.
You have places to go, but you come to the office now.
After the office, I have places to go. I won't be available.
You literally drive past my place every day.
Okay. Let's get into it. I'll finish playing. Dr. Biola, what is obesity? And at what point does excess body weight become a health concern?
Yeah. So one of my good topics. I like some statistics. So in 2022, let's say it was about 2 point, and then male or female. So anything above 25 is overweight, and then anything I don't know that there's some other factors that matter too, especially waist size, and belly fat.
Okay.
And it's interesting. Like in my practice, I can now, I do a lot of infertility workup. So it used to be 100% like 90% prostate. Now it's about 50 urology, infertility, gynae stuff. And
Okay.
I can look at a woman that's struggling with infertility, and some of them I would just look at her and say, "You like carbohydrates, don't you? You like rice, swallow, bread," and she would just be nodding her head,
Bread,
nodding her head, nodding her head. And
bread.
yes, and I'll say that that's contributing to your infertility.
Heart diseases, obesity, and diabetes always linked together as a dangerous trial in medicine.
So very good question. The main reason is because they all feed each other. So your insulin resistance now leads to diabetes or type 2 diabetes.
Okay.
And your diabetes now damages your blood vessels and damages your heart. So, you start with obesity, insulin resistance, diabetes. It's a cascade. So they all go together. And it's very, if I have a person, let's say that's diabetic, I'm very sure they have some degree of heart disease and probably some degree of kidney disease. It's almost always there. If it's not there, it's because they're early in their journey. But that main thing, damage. We don't talk about it enough. That how your blood vessels in your heart can be damaged by what you eat, and over time that can give you a lot of risk.
Okay.
Mm. I find that interesting. A couple of years ago, I was talking to someone and she was saying to me how we don't, as Nigerians, we don't allow our gut to heal before, going to the next meal. So typically they say 3 square meals. And she was saying to me, we actually don't have to eat 3 square meals because we eat really, really big portions. And typically people don't start having breakfast until like maybe 9 o'clock. By the time that meal is even digesting, you now say it's lunchtime and then the food hasn't digested, your gut hasn't healed, yada, yada, yada. Now, on the other hand, you have
That's what I call grazing, like cows, like cattle. We constantly eating.
constipation.
Yes, you're not eating when you're hungry. You're not eating on the schedule. You're just basically constantly eating, whether you're hungry or not. And that's one of the main. That's a large component of
Insulin spike. Mm. Okay, then on the other hand, you also have people. I don't want to call them weight loss specialists. That people who promote healthy living, who tell you that you don't have to, like, you need to eat bits and pieces of healthy stuff throughout the day. And then this week I was having a conversation with someone who's talking about insulin spike and how that's a major cause, like you rightly said. Now, on one hand, is that we're eating before we're hungry. I mean, we're eating just for the sake of eating, and the gut isn't healing. But then the other side that says, oh, it's different at different points of the day. You just what matters is when with the portions that you're eating, eat before you're hungry. Are they not countering itself? Because if I'm eating 5 times a day but in smaller portions, how is that helping my gut heal or not heal? I'm sure you understand what I mean.
Yeah, those are good questions. And culturally, food we use food as a as a not just a reward, but as kind of like a greeting. How do you can't go to your auntie's house or your uncle's house and they don't feed
Mhm.
you, right? Nowadays, if I'm going to an aunt or an uncle's house, I just don't eat because I know they're gonna feed. And if you don't eat, if they say, "Hey, do you want something?" and you say, "No, no, no, I just ate," they look at you kind of strange. Like, you want to eat? Still take something. So and over time that leads to that some of that same attitude. The I I've been on this, let's call it journey, for about 4 or 5 years now, doing the heavy research. I even went and got a degree in what they call integrated medicine.
Mhm.
And at the beginning, I was the 5 meals a day, small
Mhm.
meals a day, because the thinking there is that if your body sees just maybe one meal a day, it's going to want to save all of that as fat. And
Ah.
if your body knows that you're eating multiple times a day, small meals, it will just go ahead and burn. We do a little bit of glucose storage too. So I now, on the other side, there's some people say eat only one meal a day or 2 meals a day. How I reconcile everything is the most important thing is total calories.
Huh.
Most important thing is total calories. So if you are a kind of person that back when I had ulcer, calculate those 5 meals and they're each 300 calories each, so I'm at 1,500. Me for my size, I'm gonna lose weight. I'll lose like 2 kg a week eating like that, regardless of five, because of the total
But
amount of
you add
calories.
the calorie. Mhm.
Yeah, but if I eat one meal that's 5,000 calories, I'm going, I watched this show, 600 Pound Life, where you have some people, every single time, where you have some people that'll grab like 4 or 5 pizzas,
Mhm.
large pieces, and eat all of that, one human being.
Mhm.
So if
It's so
anybody that, one human being.
funny. Mhm.
So, if you're eating over 2,000 calories a day, you're gonna gain weight. The average woman is 1,800 calories a day is to usually stay at your weight, but it's
For
done by
women,
for
for women.
women. For men is about 2,000. But the bigger you are, so
Mm.
that's where my thinking lies.
That I know it's not healthy. There was a time I was actually fooling myself. There was no difference. I weighed the same. I was
Mm.
eating heavy meals in the night. By the
Uh,
third week, the first week I didn't eat. Second week, only fruits all through the day. The third week, I was eating heavy meals in the night.
Sorry, Nima, when you say you didn't eat at all in the first week, what do you mean?
I didn't eat anything. I was just drinking water.
You went
For
on a water
one week,
fast.
So I know it is not healthy. So I want to know why the weight didn't change.
Seen people that do it and claim that it is. I'm just like, I tried it and I could only last, Dr. Bina, 36 hours. Yeah. And I
day
told
and
the
a
boy,
half.
I was not fasting. I just decided not to eat.
wow, I couldn't
That
relate.
that that's amazing. Yeah, I cannot do that. And like last week, I was telling you, my own personal God doesn't mind if my belly is full when I'm praying. My own God. Everybody's God is different. But you that phenomenon you talked about, for after the third week is kind of what I'm saying. When your body sees that you're not giving it a lot of food or a lot of meals, it slows your metabolism down. So, and we need to talk about metabolism. Metabolism is, the processes of your body, your heart beating, right? Your brain working, your blood circulating, all of that burns calories. So I always give an example like my pregnant women didn't eat their body would your body would take flesh and take fat and feed that baby an additional 100 calories. This is like 4 or 5 spoons of rice difference, right? Is not that you need for the baby. And as you get further along, it goes up to about 300. I always tell people that your general body process can burn, let's say mine burn about 2,000 calories a day. If I ate a donut, you guys eat donuts
Mhm.
or
Yes.
puff? Yes, right? That's about 300 calories. Do
Mm.
you know how long you have to run on the treadmill to lose that weight from that one donut?
It's like an hour, I think.
Almost 3 hours.
Oh,
The longest I've
Almost three.
done
Is
on the
it?
treadmill, I think, was 15 minutes. And even then,
Yeah,
I was so tired.
yeah. You're so you're burning there like maybe 25, 50 calories. Cycle is, you have excess fat, right? And it now makes your body less responsive to insulin. So insulin is a hormone that's secreted by our pancreas, and it helps move sugar, well, or glucose from the blood into the cells. So, the average person just believes blood is blood, but in the blood, you have red blood cells, you have white
Mhm.
blood cells,
Mm.
you have different proteins. And if for your white blood cells to do the work that they need glucose, they break down glucose. So insulin moves it from the blood into the cell. So over time, with the excess body fat, your body is less responsive to insulin. So meaning that if insulin normally moves sugar from blood into your cells, when your body resists insulin, the sugar stays higher in the blood. And at first, your pancreas will start making more insulin,
Oh,
but eventually your pancreas will get tired. And so somebody in type 2 diabetes, usually the amount of insulin their body is producing is definitely not enough, and they're not sensitive to the insulin as well. So that's what we mean by insulin resistance.
okay.
If your body secretes 10 units of insulin, it's supposed to drop your blood sugar by this amount, and over time, it's just less
Mhm.
and less responsive.
Okay. I
Okay.
understand the basis of what you said because, after all, I was an excellent biology student. I'm praising myself
Okay.
right now.
Geneva. Okay, I'm going to jump a couple of questions because I think Gabriela has already answered questions on heart, how diabetes is affecting the heart and all of that. So, what role? Before I go to what role, can someone be overweight and still appear healthy while silently? No, before that question, Gabriela, there's this assumption that when someone is on the big side, it means that they're obese or overweight, right? And they're unhealthy. But is it possible to be slim and unhealthy? But I'm not sure of overweight, but slim and unhealthy.
The short answer is yes. We say health. Health involves blood pressure, but if you now check your cholesterol level, it's through the roof. Your risk of heart disease, stroke, also go
Diabetes.
exactly. So many people feel fine while they're silently developing diabetes, pre-diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, fatty liver, heart disease. You'll be looking normal. This
Right? There's no space for. See, I've been my glasses. I bought. I started bellying when I started having children. Now, to be fair to myself, I was eating beans ever so often, so that's helped with my weight, right? But but before my son, it just started. It started like my weight started going. It was going like a yo-yo because again, I like bread. And like I always say, bread is a snack, bread is a meal, bread is a dessert, if you will. However, way bread, bread can come to you in different however way you want the bread. You can eat bread with butter, you can eat bread with any kind of spread, you can eat bread with stew. Some people eat bread with effort, some people eat it with egusi, some people fry it with come out of the stomach. Maybe the person also has hormonal imbalance. I see. I'm just okay. The regular answer.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
going.
Please also answer for those who have not had children. Not all of us here have had children.
Diva, I love it.
So a lot of women are not going to like this answer, but
That's why you change your voice, I mean, Dr. Viola.
let me speak softly before I get lynched. a lot of times we use childbearing as an excuse to allow ourselves to get larger, and it still falls into that thing. Oh, I'm eating for two, or I need to eat so that my breast milk will come out, or I need to do they have
Yes.
yeah, all of those, all of those things. But you don't have to gain any weight if you really don't want to. But you mentioned hormonal imbalance, right? So as your hormones change, when you were pregnant, I'm sure at some point you had this craving for food that maybe you normally didn't have, right? And a lot of times people have that craving for different foods. They'll be like chocolate, I have to have chocolate, or I have to have bread, or I have to have this. And
Yes.
then you
Yeah.
also you always want to you eat. So there's some women that I'm put them on progesterone to maybe
Mhm.
help fertility or something like that. And a lot of them will tell me that they feel hungry all the time, right? And I'm like, yeah, that's if you feed into that hunger, then you will definitely we will roll you into the office the next time. You won't walk in, we'll roll you in because you're going to be round like a balloon. Mhm. So you really don't have to gain the weight. You'll have arthritis, joint pains, and fatty liver, and heart disease, like we mentioned. So um, if you see it increasing, just take it as a warning. It's one of the warning signs. And other people will talk about increasing weight size, tiredness, frequent urination, excessive thirst, blurry vision. These are all signs of either pre-diabetes or high blood pressure.
Mhm.
And if you like we always say, if you catch these things early and treat them early, it's much easier than later when you now have heart disease or you have a wound or you now find out you've had diabetes for years. It's difficult to deal with. Do comprehensive tests.
Okay.
Mm.
Because I'm a young person, I have to ask this question. Are younger
Mm-hmm.
people now at risk of developing these conditions because of lifestyle changes? We especially
We have more sedentary jobs, right?
Yeah.
People
yes.
people exercise very, very little. You have sedentary jobs, but the demand will be high. I just look at people that work in the banks or work in different high pressure situations where you're getting out of bed, you're sitting in the car, sit at your desk, sit back in the car, go back to bed. There's no room for exercise, and
Mm,
so yes, it's getting the conditions are getting worse, not better. And even with the more young adults, I've seen somebody 30 years old with severe high blood pressure. So it's no longer these are no longer old people diseases.
Yeah.
Anybody can get it.
okay.
Yeah.
So one other question. At the beginning I said I'm going to ask questions for myself too.
Sure.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So for a person who has family history of diabetes and high blood pressure, who
Mhm.
is also on the big side.
Family history of high blood pressure, right?
Okay.
And there's a lot of my uncles that have died from high. One that you usually don't get snoring. Somebody if they snore heavily, usually those people are a little bit thicker in
Okay.
the neck or the wound or the chest. If you
Okay.
have poor wound healing, you get a wound or you get an injury and it takes a lot longer than normal people, that could be a warning sign. Of
Okay.
Mhm.
course, chest discomfort or breathlessness go along with it. And the one that I always like to point out, erectile dysfunction.
Mm.
So if a erectile dysfunction is not a process of aging, right?
Okay.
I look at it as a warning sign of something else. So if I get a patient that complains about erectile dysfunction, I'm going to automatically check his blood pressure, his or her blood
Mm.
pressure. I'm
Okay.
going to check the blood sugar, make sure that they're not diabetic, and because sometimes that's how you catch it. Person doesn't know they're diabetic or they have high blood pressure, but they just complaining about erectile dysfunction, and you now
Mhm.
find out that's the cause. So again, do not wait for symptoms. Screening, screening, screening. And
Mm.
not enough people took me up on the free screening last
Oh.
last week. So we'll try that again this week.
Oh. People
Okay.
they don't have lights in Arepo to hear. Sorry. I'm not even trying to be shady. It's true. Like, but people that are going through like real life stuff as well, they're like, look, I can't add this one to the list of problems that I have. I will
Mhm,
think about it later or something.
mhm.
Okay, so it is well. Dr. Biela, so lifestyle habits that we can adopt to break. Of course, I know that exercise is here, but like, what other lifestyle habits can we adopt to break this cycle before it even starts?
So some practical things, and some people on this show were not like this. Stop sugary drinks, daily sugary drinks,
I don't take. I
right?
don't take. I know. Yeah.
I knew I was talking to somebody.
Okay, no,
So
my own is bread. Just like my own is bread. That's my problem. Like this week now, the bread I've eaten. Ah.
uh,
Mm, 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 mm.
so let's make that number two. High high amounts of bread, or let's say carbohydrates, right? If you can reduce your amount of carbohydrate intake, we see that is directly correlated to weight, insulin resistance, diabetes. Like the less carbs you eat, the less you have of those diseases, rather than burn it off, you know? Can we eat more vegetables and more protein? Is it
See, this
possible?
thing about vegetables. Look, just like okay, no, let me be honest. There's some vegetable meals that I like that I make myself. Like if I do like if do steamed cabbages with carrots and what's the last one? Cucumbers, and I fry them with eggs and atarudo. Elite meal, really, really elite. And I use it with the shawarma bread, just one of it with the shawarma bread. It's really and sardines, yeah. It's an elite meal. I'm not even going to lie. It's amazing. It's just that compared to eating bread and butter or bread and stew or something, it's just like wow. It's a really great meal, but I think also is the not accessibility, how quick you can make those meals for yourself. So I think a question to now ask, I'm sorry to cut you, is that I feel like people wait till they're hungry before they eat, as opposed to what are we supposed to do? Are we supposed to wait when we're shaking out of hunger? At that point, fix at that point in time. So should we wait till we are hungry to eat?
They'll turn it on in a second. But you mentioned something important, meal prep, right?
Mhm.
And if you can, if I have somebody that really wants to lose weight, that's probably the first thing I'll tell them. Like your, just like you mentioned, your vegetables and your protein, if you can make that ahead of time and have it in, little packs.
Yeah, but we
I've even
don't.
had people. Hmm?
Nigeria doesn't have lights.
Yeah, it's a problem. It's a real problem, and that's
Which
why I
is
think
why
it's so
some
easy
people
for a
want
lot of people. It's
then
the problem.
eating what are you supposed to wait till you're hungry, or is there a is it 6 hours from your first meal to the next meal, or 6 hours? Can you what should you have? Are there in between snacks to have as well? Things like that.
So
Snack can be fruit now.
I'm
Oh
laughing.
you're
I'm,
looking good for me.
I'm laughing because you threw that in there in between snacks.
Yes, it could be an apple. It could be a cucumber. I'll be no biscuit. I said.
I doubt your in between snacks are cucumbers, but that's neither here nor there. The
Mm,
if you do not want to gain weight, or you don't want to gain excess weight, eating when you're hungry is a very good. It's not hungry. Remember we talked about insulin,
mhm.
and insulin resistance. So you've not finished digesting your previous meal and into obesity. Somebody that does that over time will definitely gain weight.
So, what are the things we should do? So, meal prep, exercise, eat healthy.
Yeah, if you can, walk after in there. So, one more, sleep better. So you improve your sleep. These are some daily habits that would really improve.
Mm.
One thing that I do is, if I'm seeing, there's some days on a rough day I may see 30 patients, right? And I'm sitting in my office. I have a bell, so I ring the bell. The nurse will bring in the next patient, hand me the case note. I'll talk to the patient. When the patient's ready to go, I ring the bell again and hand her the case note. So in that cycle, I have not stood up,
Mm.
right? So I'm been sitting, and that can happen over. You just be surprised how this can just happen off. So I've seen myself just sit for the entire 20 to 30 patients.
Patient.
All right. I'm not. So when I noticed that I was doing that and I'm trying to practice what I preach, I will now stand up, walk the patient out to, out the door, open the door, and I'll hand the case note to the nurse instead of ringing the bell. So at least in between each patient, I'm standing. Right. I'm
Mm.
standing and I'm walking the short distance. And I want to believe that it makes sense. So if you're working in a bank or in a radio station, if you sit for a long time, if you can try and stand for every 30 minutes to an hour, it will really make a big difference because that's going to increase your metabolism and you're going to burn calories.
Okay. Okay. So I have two questions. You mentioned earlier that some people, especially in high pressure jobs, they sit most of the times
Mhm.
from the car to the office. This recent trend, or is the statistics okay?
Mm.
So I'll take the exercise because everybody wants to know how much exercise is enough, right? And
Yeah.
what do you need? The easy way to do that to say 30 minutes 5 times, 30 minutes a day, 5 times a week,
Okay.
right? So if 30 minutes 5 times, so that's about 150 minutes in a week. And when we talk about exercise, brisk walking, like walking fast, could be considered exercise. So the main point, and then if you can do strength training, you will see huge benefits. The main point is that walking, run for an hour a day. I'll just
Okay.
say, I'll now just listen to them, ask them about their day, and say, can you do 10 squats? Just stand up, sit down, 10 times. The next week, we're going to up that to 20. It may take you just a few minutes in a day, but it will reap great benefits.
Okay.
And I think your second question was, are these things increasing, like
Yes.
obesity? And unfortunately, yes, it's increasing. It's increasing steeply, and the factors that drive it are, our urban lifestyle. We sit more, we walk less, we eat more processed foods,
Mhm.
less routine medical screening. All of these things are increasing. It's what's causing the increase in
Okay.
in disease, and we call those increasing non-communicable disease. So meaning diseases you cannot pass to people. So
Mhm.
obesity, diabetes, high blood pressure, stroke, kidney disease, and heart disease are all on the rise.
Okay.
All on the rise in Nigeria.
Mm. All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Abiola, for coming on the program today. I mean, we had our high moments and our, I don't want to say low moments. Our look at your life in your front. Which one do you want to do? Which one do you want to do? Do you want to kill yourself or do you want to be healthy? Choose one. But
Choose
thank
one.
you so much for always coming on. Dr. Abiola, do we have free gifts today?
Yes, we've talked about blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol. So
Okay.
I'm so glad my mom is not listening to this today. I know she's not listening today
Why? What do you
because
know?
because the first thing she'll say when she sees me is Nima, why yeah, loading. So I'm glad she's not.
Free screening to see Dr. Abiola, or you want to call him. I don't know why Dr. Abiola keeps giving out his number, special number, but 0913-579-5108 is Dr. Abiola's number. Call him. I said, Dr. Abiola, my stomach is paining. He's the one that gave you the number. And then we also have the hotline 0808 080 888 26 080 888 626 35. Those are the numbers to call. Social media RA Specialist Hospital on Facebook and Instagram, on YouTube ROA Specialist Hospital, as well as Twitter.
thank you very much. Try not to eat too much bread, please, this weekend. Bye.
Bye.
All right, this is still with Red Radio 91.7. It's been a long morning, wouldn't you say?
Oh,
Yeah. So
oh,
when he said his name, I was like, no, that name sounds familiar. And then he said Hassani. I was like, okay. So I asked you. So yeah, it was nice to have that little daddy and daughter moment. Uh, yeah, we call it a wrap this morning. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. The next time you'll be hearing the sound of my voice and Nima's voice will be okay, no, will be next week. I was going to say happy Nima, but we're still going to be in June by Monday. All right, Nima, it was great doing this with you.
Okay.
Bye for now.